Welcome to an Epilepsy WA information seminar. Thanks to UCB for supporting this service that we provide. Today we're going to be speaking to Paul from Seizure Alert Australia about the Sami, which is right here. So thank you very much for joining us, Paul. Welcome. Could you start by telling us a little bit about the Sami?
Yeah, sure thing. So the Sami is a video monitor device to watch for movement through the night, and so it's looking for, I guess, essentially for seizure type activity through the night, and to alert parents in other rooms while they're sleeping as well if there's a lot of abnormal movement detected. And that the amount of movement detected is really dependent on the settings that have been applied during the app. So it can be set for an extremely low amount of movement, or the other end can be a lot of movement before the alarm goes off. So it's very customizable. We often get asked about what are the most appropriate settings to have it on, and really it's a difficult question to answer because everyone is different, and some people are more restless sleepers than others and so on. So I always recommend to start with the settings on probably on the more sensitive side, and then over a period of a few nights back it off to a point where it's not giving you too many false alarms.
Fantastic. And so tell how does it actually work? So how does the system work?
Yeah, so it's got a proprietary algorithm built within the camera and within the app that you'll find on the Apple device that's the viewing end. And so what it's doing, it's looking for movement, and it's not looking for seizure movement, it's looking for any type of movement. So hence, often if a child sleeps with a pet or something like that, it can give you false alarms because the pet might be moving around. So it's just looking for movement. So it's really just designed for seizures that are movement based, so tonic-clonic seizures and the like. It's not going to be able to detect seizures that don't have any movement. So that's the acronym in the Sami, so Sleep Activity Monitor, as in the Sami. And so it's basically just looking for activity during sleep. And what it does, it has these motion sensors, so that as I said earlier about the setting that you have it on, as it detects movement, it preloads the alarm, and then as the alarm builds and gets to the threshold that you've set, then the alarm will go off and alert you that there's been a certain amount of movement detected. And you don't need to rush into the room. You can actually see through the device, through the iPad or iPod that you have connected to it, what's happening. And if you do see that there's some abnormal activity happening, you can then go and assist.
Oh, that's really interesting. That's fantastic. You mentioned a link to an Apple device. The app is can it be used with Android, or is it Apple only?
No, it's Apple only. So it can be used on any Apple device, so iPhone, iPad, or iPod. And it can be used on multiple devices. So you can have it on essentially as many devices as you like. It's a free app, so you can have it on, if you're anything like our family, we have 5 or 6 phones and iPads and things sitting around. And so we actually have one ourselves that we use for our daughter. And so we actually have the app set up on every device, because if you're a little forgetful like us, sometimes we might forget to charge the primary device. And so we use a backup one as one of the others. So it's free to use and easy to set up, and it can be installed. I guess it really just is dependent on your bandwidth of your Wi-Fi at home. So you could have 10 or a dozen potentially running on it at the same time.
Oh wow! So, and with the alarm itself, is there an alarm in the room, or is it just does it come through on the devices themselves?
Yeah, so the alarm that the parents will hear will be on the device that you're viewing it on. So there's no sound in the child's end. It's also transmitting sound. So while it's also giving you a live video feed, it's also giving you a live audio feed as well. And so you can actually hear what's happening. And it's really quite sensitive to sound as well. So you can, if you dial it right up and have it on at the full volume, you can almost hear the child breathing. So it really does pick up the sound very well. And obviously you can turn that down as well, because you don't need to be hearing too much and keeping you awake through the night. But it does that through, and you just see it on your end, and then you can make a decision whether you go and attend or it's a false alarm.
Okay, so is it tape, sort of the footage is coming through all the time, or is it activated when it finds some kind of movement?
Yeah, so there's a setting within the app, because you've got a live video feed running, and it's actually really quite bright in the middle of the night. So if you're in a dark bedroom and the app's running and you've got a video feed coming through, it's almost like having a night light on. So you can have a setting where after a period of time, anywhere from about 10 seconds out to 5 minutes, it'll time out to a digital clock face. So it makes it less bright. The app's running behind that clock, and you can still hear what's going on. If there's an alarm, the clock will automatically go off and straight to the live feed. And likewise, if you hear something through the audio feed that you would think you might want to have a look to see what's going on, if you just touch the screen, the clock will go off as well. And then it'll really time out. Yeah, it is, isn't it? Yeah, it's but then once the video feed's been activated and you do nothing, the clock will time back out to the clock again after that amount of time.
Oh, that's fantastic. And you've mentioned that you use this within your family as well. What do you think is what has been the best thing about it for you?
Yeah, it's a great question. So, like a lot of other parents, and when you're new to children with seizures, you look for all sorts of alternatives. And so we started with a baby monitor, but we found that having a baby monitor was probably giving us less sleep than before without one, because you're kind of constantly watching with one eye open what's going on, because it's not recording, it's just a video feed. So we found that we were extremely tired, and so we progressed from that to we bought a security system that was motion activated with a camera to try and watch, and that was just as bad, if not worse. And so, while this on the surface looks like a baby monitor, it's actually been optimized to look for seizures, and it's highly sensitive and highly customizable. And so what it does is it allows you the peace of mind to sleep at night knowing that there's someone watching your child 24/7, and you can rest easy.
Oh, and life is so much easier when you get a good night's sleep, isn't it, really? So that's
absolutely
an essential function. You've talked a bit about how you can customize it to suit your needs. Is that something that the families can do themselves, or does it need to be done by you guys? How does that work?
Yep. So within the app settings, because it's on an iDevice, everything's very intuitive and touchscreen. They're just little sliders. You just you slide your finger along a sliding scale from less to more, depending on what the setting is that you're adjusting. So you can adjust the motion threshold and the alarm threshold and the noise, the sound, and all different types of stuff. So it's very intuitive, and it's just a sliding scale. And like I said, you start at a point where you think you might be okay, and then over a period, I think it took us 3 or 4 nights when we first got our system set up to get it just right for us before we weren't getting any false alarms. So and like I said before, every kid is different, and our Lara is only quite young, and she has a teddy, so often she might wake up in the night and look for teddy or something, and so you don't need that extra bit of movement sending the alarm off. So we have it set at a point where that doesn't trigger it.
Oh, that's fantastic. And you talk about, obviously it's recording and things like that. Does it store data somewhere in the cloud? Can you use what it records to show, in conversations with treating neurologists and so on?
Yeah, absolutely. So it has internal storage. It stores all the video recordings onto a micro SD card, and then that can be accessed through the app. So you can actually view any of the video recordings on the app directly. And then if you did have a seizure and you want to show your neurologist or your doctor what the seizure looked like or how long it went for, then you can actually email it directly from the app straight to the treating doctor. Or likewise, you can actually, because it's an SD card, you can remove it and place it inside your PC and download it to your laptop if you like, or a flash drive card or something, and take it with you to your appointments. So it's very, very user friendly. And
very, very flexible as well. That's fantastic.
Absolutely.
So do you mind sharing with us a bit about the cost and where they can purchase one from?
Yep, sure thing. So the Sami camera, basically the one that you had there, so I've got one here. Yep, that one. So the Sami camera comes with just the unit with some mounting brackets and cords and things to mount it. If you buy that, it's $650 including postage. If you do buy that, you need to supply your own iDevice and just your own router at your home end to be able to use it. Sure. We supply that as a pre-configured kit for $14.90 with an iPod and $19.90 with an iPad mini. The advantages of having the pre-configured kit is mobility. So we provide the iPad or iPod, whichever kit you choose, with the Sami, with a router, so that it makes its own little private network. And so that gives you the flexibility that if you've got children maybe staying over at grandparents, or split care arrangements and so on, or even if you just go on holidays, you can actually just take it all with you and turn it on wherever you go, and it'll work just the same as it does at home. All the settings will remain the same, and it's just a matter of just turning it back on and it'll go. So that's the flexibility that the packages offer. If you connect it up, if you purchase just the camera on its own and connect it through your home Wi-Fi, it'll work perfectly fine, but it doesn't give you the mobility to be able to take it anywhere else.
But it's good that you've got the 3 options, I guess. That's really flexible. I think that's a fantastic chance to do that. And can anybody trial them or that kind of thing? Or can they talk to you more about those sort of options?
Yeah, so if someone's not sure that the product will suit their requirements, we're happy to take a refund. We'll give them their money back after 4 to 6 weeks if they find that it's not working for them, and for whatever reason. No questions asked. Yeah, we'll as long as they send it back, we'll send them their full refund. Less obviously the freight, but it's only maybe $15 or $20.
Yeah. Oh no, that's fantastic. Yeah. And is it through your website? Did you want to tell us a bit about where they can access it?
Yeah, sure thing. So there's a dedicated Sami website, samialertaustralia.com.au, or our, business homepage, seizurealertaustralia.com.au. You can purchase it from either of those 2 sites, and there's flexible payment options through there as well. Different options through Afterpay and credit cards and PayPal and so on.
And I guess obviously in these difficult times, the fact that it's Australian stockists means that there's not a huge amount of time between ordering and receiving it, I would assume.
Yeah, absolutely. So everything that we send is sent with express postage and tracking, and we find typically, even during COVID times, the delivery is no more than about 3 days to almost probably 95% of places. So it's pretty quick. If you buy something on the weekend or early in the week, you have it by the end of that week generally.
Oh, that's great. Oh, that's fantastic. So is there anything else that you'd like to share with us that we haven't discussed about Sami?
Probably the ability that NDIS will pay for a lot of these. We find that a large majority of our sales of Sami are funded through NDIS. While we're not a registered provider at the moment, we're in the process of becoming that, but we've found that NDIS will cover that under low-cost assistive technology, and they fall within that range. Yeah.
Oh, that's brilliant. Thank you so much for your time. We're really grateful, and it's a real pleasure to have a chance to discuss Sami with you and learn more about it. Thank you so much.
No problem.
Thanks.
Yeah, thanks
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.